Hello and welcome to the Antiquarian Outlook for week 43 of 2025, starting October 20th. I'm Spencer W. Stuart, Collections Advisor, author of Contemporary Issues in Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting, and host of the monthly webinar Collecting Insights. For more details on my services, publications, and programs, follow the links below, along with links to the various auctions we'll discuss in this program. Alright, let's get into last week's results. Monday, Bonhams had online poster sale. There were 81 lots offered, of which 32 sold, making for a 39.5% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 57, Ogalop's 1905 Michelin poster, a lithograph. Estimates were set at 13,000 to 15,000 euros, realizing just above 15,000 euros. Tuesday, Chiswick Auctions had Photographica. Within this sale, there were 63 items that were pertaining to photography and prints. 36 sold, making for a 57% sell-through rate. Highest price realized within that category was lot 84, a pair of panoramic views of Delhi from 1911. Estimates were set at 200 to 300 pounds, realizing just above 1,000 pounds. Wednesday, Christie's had American Greats, Vintage Sports, and Hollywood from the Dr. G.B. Espy collection. There were 174 lots offered, of which 168 sold, making for a 96.5% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was lot 14, this Lou Gehrig New York Yankees professional model home jersey, worn at Gehrig's final home game during the 1939 World Series. Estimates were set at $2 million to $4 million US dollars, realizing just above $2.7 million US dollars. A lot that exceeded expectation was 47, an identification card for Marilyn Monroe issued by the United States American Department of Defense in 1954. Estimates were set at 20,000 to 30,000 US dollars, realizing 176,400 US dollars. Thursday, Forum had an online sale, Books and Works on Paper. There were 299 lots offered, of which 245 sold, making for an 82% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was lot 111, this first edition of Stevenson's Treasure Island from 1883. Estimates were set at 600 to 800 pounds, realizing 2,400 pounds. A buy-in of note, lot 71, this restoration binding example for the Book of Common Prayer, published in 1687. Estimates are set at 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. Next sale, Swann Galleries had fine books. There were 384 lots off, of which 329 sold, making for an 86% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 146, John Dee's copy of Munster's Grammika, published in 1527. Estimates were set at 10,000 to 15,000 US dollars, realizing 107,950 US dollars. A lot that exceeded expectation was 344, Kurt Vonnegut Jr.'s album containing retained copies of letters dating from 1951 through to 1956. Estimates were set at 8,000 to 10,000 US dollars, realizing just above 33,000 US dollars. Next sale, Freeman Hindman's had American Historical Ephemera and Photography. There were 373 lots offered, of which 362 sold, making for a 97% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 209, Thomas O. Larkin's Map of the Valley of Sacramento, including the Gold Region, printed in around 1848. Estimates were set at 20,000 to 30,000 US dollars, realizing 24,000 US dollars. A buy-in of note, this album and print of various indigenous elders from the United States taken by Alexander Gardner when they visited the White House in 1867. Estimates were set at 20,000 to 30,000 US dollars. Next sale, Doyle New York had prints and multiples. There were 176 lots offered. Highest price realized was for lot 151, Alfred H. Barr Jr.'s personal copy of Roy Lichtenstein's Crying Girl, a lithograph from 1963. Estimates were set at 30,000 to 40,000 US dollars, realizing 97,750 US dollars. A lot that exceeded expectation was 58, a complete set of 15 calotypes after Egon Schiele, printed in 1920. Estimates were set at 6,000 to 8,000 US dollars, realizing 20,480 US dollars. Next sale, Eldreds had multiples and works on paper. There were 172 lots offered, of which 152 sold, making for an 88% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 3004, a multimedia print done by Maya Lin on paper in 1984. Estimates were set at 500 to 1,000 US dollars, realizing 9,500 US dollars. A buy-in of note, lot 3012, Frank Weston Benson's The Procession from 1929. Estimates were set at 4,000 to 6,000 US dollars. Next sale, Lyon and Turnbull had the library of James Stirling, mathematician. There were 160 lots offered. The highest price realized was for Lot 5, the 1711 publication of Sir Isaac Newton. Estimates were set at £40,000 to £60,000, realizing £100,800. A buy-in of note, Lot 55, James Stirling's Diploma of the Royal Prussian Academy of Sciences, issued in 1747. Estimates were set at £800 to £1,200. Next sale, Bonhams had Americana Exploration and Travel. There were 236 lots offered, of which 186 sold, making for a 79% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 102, Thomas Paine's The American Crisis No. 1, bound with American Crisis No. 2, as well as Crisis Extraordinary, all published between 1776 and 1777. Estimates were set at $80,000 to $120,000, realizing $152,900. A couple buy-ins of note, Lot 133, Captain James Cook's autographed manuscript unsigned, being a portion of the autographed logbook from the HMS Resolution. Estimates were set at $80,000 to $120,000, as well as Lot 140, Captain George Vancouver's manuscript document signed, containing records for stores expended in March and April of 1791. Again, estimates were set at $80,000 to $120,000. Finishing off the week, PBA Galleries had Americana, Travel and Exploration, as well as Maps and Views. There were 470 lots offered, of which 258 sold, making for a 63% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 296, Cook and King's A Voyage of the Pacific Ocean, published in 1784. Estimates were set at $7,000 to $10,000, realizing $10,000. Three buy-ins of note, Lot 303, Dixon's A Voyage Around the World, published in 1789. Estimates set at $2,000 to $3,000. Again, another copy of Dixon's A Voyage Around the World, also published in 1789. Estimates again at $2,000 to $3,000. And finally, Lot 309, Franklin's publication on the Polar Sea Exploration, published in 1823. Again, estimates set at $2,000 to $3,000. In the news, registration remains open for the November sessions of Collecting Insights at the Emerging, Expanding, and Legacy levels. As always, registrants will receive a complimentary copy of Contemporary Issues in Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting. For a hyperlinked list of next week's auctions we have an eye on, please get in touch with us directly. Well, that's been the week from here. What did you think of last week's results? Anything surprise you? Anything you have your eye on? Please make sure to put some comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. Remember, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and let others know about this program. Thanks again for tuning in. All for now. See you next week.